everyone doing tonight? Hey guys. Oh, thank you for following, Sky. Where are you watching from? Hi. Where are you from? Turn this down a little bit, actually. Wow. Yeah. Where are you from? California. Oh, nice. What part? My best friend, she's from Ripon, California. I think I'm saying it right. It's Ripon, California. Yeah. ASCO. I'm just, I've never heard of that before, but California was always somewhere I wanted to live. But everybody was like, it's expensive. But really, anywhere that you move to nowadays is expensive. So I think that's in my later years. Escondido. Okay, I know this might sound a little ignorant, but it's because I really don't know. So California covers LA, San Francisco, and stuff like that, right? That's all part of California. I think so. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. I can't really see your profile. I see something red. I don't know if that's a hoodie or like your hair, but all are welcome. Hey guys, welcome. I'm just waiting for a couple minutes and then we'll get started. Oh, okay. You're good. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I really can't see who it is anyway, so it's fine. Hello, Fiona. Hi, how's it going? Welcome, everybody. How are you guys feeling tonight? I feel like it's Friday, but it's really not. It's really not. It's not Friday, it's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm excited for today because we're gonna read chapter 7. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. You will find a lot of amazing upcoming videos to come. I've rebranded everything so it's not in the same context of what I've usually posted, but thank you. Thank you, Fiona. Where are you watching from? Where are you located? I had someone join from Scotland. That's the power of the internet, guys. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I'm glad a few of you are here. I can just say this and then it's fine as this happens next, but I'm gonna go ahead and play some worship music. This is what I usually do in the beginning, just to give some time, because I don't know what the algorithm does when you join live. I guess you have to wait a little bit for people to know that you're there. So I'm gonna let the song play a little bit. I'm gonna worship my heart out and just be ready to talk about this chapter 7 of Revelation and Alignment. This is the Awaken Vision Challenge. And again, as you're here, I want you to know that I am not just on here to be on live, to get people to follow me. That's not the purpose of me being on live today. I'm doing this challenge. Hi, Lolo. Saka fed mwe da Haiti, Depuis moi d'accord Haïti, from Salino. I'm speaking a different language. I speak Haitian Creole, so that's what you're hearing me speak. Y tú, yo habla español también, poquito, pero no mucho. Anyway, that's it. Let's go back to English now. Welcome to the Awaken Vision Challenge, everyone. I'm Marie, and we're doing this challenge not for the sake of just trying to grow followers. I am doing this challenge because I know that there's somebody out there who has a vision and who has something that they want to do, but they're overwhelmed by the process. They're overwhelmed by the things that they're going through right now. And I believe that if we don't know how to give language to when God gives us a vision, what happens between that time, we're going to give up when we're supposed to have the right mindset. So this Awaken Vision Challenge is for anyone who is an entrepreneur, you are a creator, you are anyone, anybody is a creator because we're all made to create, but that's besides the fact. So this challenge is to bring vision, is to bring clarity, purpose, and mindset to what it takes to build your life, to build the life that God has called you to build. So again, welcome to the Awaken Vision Challenge. I'm gonna go ahead and play the worship song. Let's just worship it out and welcome the presence of the Lord, and then we'll get right down to business. Hi guys, thank you for joining. Hello. Is that you and your family, Fiona? I can't see, but it looks like it's a family on your profile. Anyway, let's go ahead and play this song.
You surround me with melody. You surround me with song.
Hallelujah.
Of deliverance from my enemies till all my fears You split the sea so I can walk. You rescued me and I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I can walk. You turn my fears into a child of I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. You're a child of God.
Yes. Sometimes when you're listening to these songs, you have to make it personal. Like, you're a child of God. You're a child of God. We are children of God. And again, welcome to the Awaken Vision Challenge. Hello, Jerry. That's what I see here. Hello, everyone else. Welcome. So, today is actually, we are on chapter 7, guys. And for those of you who don't know me, I am very much into what numbers symbolize, and 7 actually represents the number of perfection. And funny enough, chapter 7 of my book that I wrote a book called Built by Him, and I'm doing a challenge, reading it daily, a chapter a day. So, chapter 7 is about revelation and alignment. Yesterday night, we spoke about grace. Oops. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what, guys? We're going to back it up real quick. It's okay. We learned from our mistakes. I was going to skip a whole chapter that would be very crucial for us to understand right now, which is what I tried that didn't work. What I tried that didn't work. My gosh, I almost missed past this part, and this whole point of the challenge would not be something you could take away from if I didn't share what I did and how I failed and what didn't work for me. So let's go ahead and read this chapter now, and feel free to comment, ask a question, and we'll take it from there. So actually guys, what I'm gonna try today is something a little bit different. I'm actually going to, as I read something, and if something comes up to me, then I'll go ahead and talk about it, just to see if we can get a different flow of conversation going on here. Because when I read all of the pages and then I try to bring up different points, sometimes I don't get to touch on everything I want to touch on. So let's go ahead and do this, right? Let's try. I want to emphasize that what I'm sharing with you in this book is not theory, it's my testimony. I know firsthand, not you, Siri, I know firsthand what it's like to build a vision with my own strength, only to end up frustrated, exhausted, and empty. I poured countless of hours into perfecting plans that never quite came together. The harder I pushed, the more I realized that effort alone cannot fill the gap between purpose and peace. It wasn't until I paused, surrendered control, that clarity began to replace chaos. Sometimes that breakthrough doesn't come from doing more, it comes from trusting more. So we live in a culture that tells us that we pretty much must work, right? Put all effort and no grace into the things that we want to accomplish. But interestingly enough, God is telling us to approach our purpose differently. There is a time for everything. There's a time for you to work. There's a time for you to put in the effort. And then there's a time for you to rest. That time of rest is where you enter into trusting Him, where your efforts alone cannot make the end result of what you want to do. I've always been a naturally creative and innovative person. But when I first gave my life to Christ at 18, I didn't really understand that my zeal, creativity, the champion spirit were actually gifts from God, expression of His own nature within me. They weren't random traits. They were divine deposits meant to reflect in a limited way the limitless essence of who He is. This is something beautiful that I want to talk about because we all behold an expression of God. We all behold an expression of God. The way that I express myself may not be the way that you express yourself, vice versa, but you are an expression of God in a limited way, right? We're not omnipresent, we're not omnipotent, we're not omniscient, but in a limited way, you're meant to be an expression of God's heart in this earth. Your personality, your mindset, the way that you see things, maybe you're analytical and maybe you're creative, maybe you're introvert, extrovert, whatever it is. The way that you see yourself, you're meant to be an expression of the nature of God. That's why God says, I am that I am. Don't you think that it's interesting that it doesn't matter what language that you're speaking, there's always a I am, right? It doesn't matter how you say it. I am, yo soy, moi sé, nanin, that was Korean. I am is always being expressed. And there's no one way that God wants to express Himself through only one person. The name of God isn't just a title, it's a revelation. When you call on His name, you're not merely uttering words, you're invoking the Creator of heaven and earth Himself. It's similar to when someone calls your name. They're not calling the sound of your name, they're calling a version of you that they know, shaped by the context of your relationship. Since we're made in God's image, it's the same with us. Every person and every created thing is a continuous expression of I am, manifested in form, God objectified as reality. That was a mouthful. Instead, I searched for meaning and identity in places that conflicted with Him. It took me years to understand that my drive to create was not meant to glorify me, Marie, but to glorify Him. True purpose began when I aligned my passion with His presence. In that surrender, my creativity found direction, my dreams gained eternal meaning. What once felt like ambition became an act of worship, but guided by His wisdom and grace. So here's the story now, those of you who are watching on Melanin Soul Media. In 2020, I launched a platform with my friends called Melanin for Your Soul. My intention was good. I wanted to reach diverse groups of people and build community through the love of Asian culture, anime, but the foundation of what I was building was wrong. I mixed elements that didn't belong with God. such as astrology, numerology, and cultural symbols of literally struggle and inner conflict. For the next 5 years, I lived those things that I aligned with the platform. I wrestled with that decision, and I tried to rebrand, fast, pray, and no matter how much I worked, the platform would not grow. The truth was, I had allowed the wrong things to take root in what God had called me to build. Are you letting the wrong things take root in what God has called you to build? I chase validation instead of vision, applause instead of alignment. There's only a couple of you on here, and I'm gonna share something because it's fine. Do you know why I'm on here every single day? Irregardless if there's nobody here or if there's one person here? Because I'll have to be vulnerable for a second and humble myself and say, I was seeking validation and approval. So pretty much my identity was attached to by how many people like me, by how many people stayed and watched me, by how many people subscribed to my channel, right? My identity was attached to that, and my foundation, on the outside it looks strong because the gifting that God has given me is to encourage people. I can give a word of encouragement anytime, it's not a problem. But when you looked on the inside of who I was at that time, you would see something shallow because all I was chasing was validation. So I'm on here every single night, whether there's one person, whether there's 0 persons here, speaking in the same energy because I realize that my identity isn't attached to this platform. Who I am is not Melanin Soul Media. Who I am is not an author. Who I am is not Marie, all of these things. I am a child of God. You are a child of God. My channel, my things that I talk about is always purpose and building the life that you were called to live. But that doesn't replace that foundationally, you are at first a child of God. So don't chase validation. Don't chase the applause of people. Because one day the same people who said to you, I'm cheering you on, is the same people who will say to you that they betrayed you. But for me, again, I chase validation instead of vision, applause, and instead of alignment. So my foundation looked strong on the outside, but beneath were cracks of pride and self-reliance. It wasn't until everything started to crumble, right? It's when everything starts to crumble, we start to realize that we need to invite God and let Him build with us. When we receive a vision, an idea, or a desire, we must be careful not to mix the holy with the unholy. You will never reap apples if you plant corn seeds. In the same way, you cannot expect alignment with God's ultimate best if you're sowing from your own unchecked ambitions and desires. You will only reap what you sow. That principle is not a psychological principle. It's from the Bible. It's from the Word of God. And it's a law that He set in place. Whatever you sow, whether it be sowing your time into whatever you're doing, in a good way or in a bad way, you will reap that. It's a law. It's easy to be tempted by cultural trends or symbols to draw people in, but God will not be mocked. I remember when my channel wasn't growing and I was like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do in order to draw people in, right? So even now, I did a video that went semi-viral on my channel and it drew a lot of people in. And I should have been excited about that, right? But then I said to myself, wait, what is the real reason that these people are on here? And then over time, more people started unfollowing. But did you know, that's how I know that there's a transformation that's happening, but did you know that those unfollows gave me relief. Relief that the right people are coming out of my channel. It's not that I don't appreciate it. I appreciate the follow or the subscribe because we're building a community. But you don't want to overextend yourself to people who don't appreciate what you bring into this world. So that's what it is with not blending with the cultural trends and what's popular just to draw people into what you're building, what you're doing, because God will not be mocked. He can only express himself as I am, not what you want him to be. That's often where frustration and discouragement is born. We believe in something, yet we've sown the wrong kind of seed. Instead of planting from God's nature, we sow in fear, pride, or ignorance. But we don't have to build in ignorance. You don't have to build in ignorance. We can know the great I am, and when we do, we can build anything with the right blueprint. One that remains faithful and fruitful for all who apply it. If we build on faulty foundation, even unintentionally, because that could happen, it won't last. We may gain followers, influence, recognition, or money, but if it's built with mixture, it cannot carry the weight of God's purpose. God's purpose demands purity, not performance. What is birthed and compromised will eventually collapse under conviction. Only what is rooted in his truth can endure the pressure of his calling. For me, the result was years of striving with no fruit. That is why I'm so passionate about this, because I know what it's like to spend years doing something and yet you don't bear any fruit. But imagine if I had given up. I wouldn't have been able to give language to those who are also on the same journey. Maybe they're at the beginning and they're gonna go through some stuff that they don't understand, but I'm able to say, hey, what you're going through right now, you're actually building foundation. You're not crazy, you're not behind. This is what is happening, and I want to encourage you to do this and this instead. And then you get a different perspective. My mentor said, when you want to teach someone how to do something, you don't show them what to do. You show them the mindset, you show them the tools, and then you show them what to do. Because you can show someone what to do, but if they don't have the mindset behind what they are doing, then it's not going to bear any fruit for them. For me, it took years of striving with little fruit. I thought I was building with God, but because I had mixed in what didn't belong, I was building in vain. Building in vain doesn't mean that you're failing. Do you know that you can build in vain and still be successful? Yeah. You can build a beautiful life. You can get the career you wanted. You can go after what you want, and you will get it, because the law is the law. It doesn't show favoritism. But what eventually is exposed is the heart of what you've built. So when it says that unless you build with the Lord, you will build in vain, it doesn't mean that you're not going to build. You're going to build. But what is it at the end when you finish building? What does it expose? My efforts produce movement, but no momentum. Activity without advancement. It wasn't until I allowed him to prune my motives that real growth began to take root. And even now, I'm honestly being pruned. I'm being pruned because of pride. I have to laugh because the old Marie would have never admitted that I had pride. Pride of self-reliance, pride of false humility. I had pride. And even being here right now, speaking to you, and sometimes this empty live, My pride is being exposed, and God is pruning me. Because what I have to let go of is the need of validation, the need of men's approval, the need of other people's applaud without my father's applaud. So he had to prune me to remove my pride. And through that, I learned that to obey is better than to sacrifice. God values your obedience over your efforts. It is possible to pour years into something, but if the foundation is not God, it will not bear lasting fruit. Again, what I was saying here as an example, imagine reaching the height of success in your field only to realize that what you've built was not aligned with what God had planned for you. That's why obedience, submitting your dreams fully to Him, is more important than sacrifice. Looking back now, I see that God was protecting me. If He had allowed me to succeed too quickly, I would have burnt out spiritually and emotionally. My character wasn't ready. My heart wasn't healed, and the foundation wasn't secure. Type in the chat, the foundation has to be secure. It was frustrating at the time, but I am grateful. God pruned away what didn't belong so that when the time came, I could build with Him, not just for Him. Those hidden years wasn't wasted, but were preparation for what is unfolding. God was anchoring me in truth so that I could stand when the storms came. Have you allowed mixture into your vision? Things that look good on the surface, but doesn't align with God's truth. Take time to pray, repent if needed, and invite God to purify the foundation of what you are building. You cannot plant apple seeds and expect to reap a harvest of corn. It just doesn't work like that. And so you cannot have a vision from God and you're planting all of the things that are apart from God. This chapter is where I wanted to be vulnerable and share why I even wrote this book, and I almost skipped it. But this is what I've went through and what I realized God was allowing me to overcome for such a time like this. So it is with passion, it is with excitement that I come on here every day to do this, because the more I do it, the more and more that I'm seeing the confirmation of what God has said. So, in your vision and the things that you're building, should you desire to build with God, because you're building, it's not if you're building, you are building. Everybody's building something. Should you desire then to build with God, and I hope you do, you have to analyze, what are you adding into this relationship? What are you adding into what you're building that doesn't belong? So I hope that this chapter was able to shed a bit of light in the context of why I'm on here every single day. And then tomorrow, yes, it will actually be chapter 7, where we talk about alignment. And I'm excited actually for the next chapters, because this is where we start getting into teaching the house method that I was able to create to give context to this language. So thank you all so much for joining. And I really do hope that you have an amazing night. I will be on here tomorrow at 8 p.m. again. And so I hope to see you guys there. Bye.